Yeah, I'm going to do just a little bit of a rant. I've just all morning, I was going to talk about this book that I'm reading that I think is actually one of my number one books. It's so beat up now. Epic or Die. Yes, I'm going to talk about that too. I was going to talk about this, but as I was walking around doing my morning walk, thinking about all this stuff, hey, Roman here. What's up? Start younger. Psyched. Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. I was thinking this morning about how much of my life I based things on fear. Scotland, what's up? Sushal, is that how you say it? Gregory, what's going on? Come on in. And by the way, before we get started, before I go off on my fear rant, how many people are new? I see actually quite a few new names. And by the way, thank you so much for the hearts. Tim, hey Corbin, what's up? How many people are new? Just type in new. Hey, Mikhail. Hey, I saw you talking about some really cool stuff in the Epic Life Quest Facebook group. Great subject. All right. Joe. Cool, let's talk about it. And by the way, if you want to share this with your people, I'm just going to rant about it, talk smack about fear, and new, yeah, thank you so much. I talk about creating an epic life, as well as I do a whole thing about scope for business. New, Gregory, thanks so much. Normally what I do is I talk about the different books I'm reading. Smack fear in the face, Ethan's here. I talk about the different books that I'm reading, all the breakdowns of it, talk about habits, trying to create an epic life. To create an epic life, we have to have epic goals. To be able to actually make epic goals work, we have to be able to create habits that make the goals actually happen, and then we dig down even deeper from there. But even with all of that stuff, even with all the stuff we've been talking about with epic goal setting and habits and all this stuff, I think in the end, if we don't handle the fear stuff, it won't even matter because we'll be too scared or we're too, that crap is in our way to even making the correct habits. Because I was thinking the last 3 weeks, I have been, oh man, I just realized I didn't have my mics plugged in. Is that better? Hello, better. Got this whole mic set up, wasn't even using it. But I was thinking about the last couple of weeks, I've been setting all these goals. I've been setting these, tiny habits to make the goals happen and doing all these different things, identity-based goals, all that stuff. Yeah, great, there you go. And then I was still thinking that, when I go back to when I was about 19, I thought of what I wanted to do. And one of the things was, or the main thing was, is I had first read Anthony Robbins back when I was 19. Now I'm 44 now, so it's been a while, right? So back then I went, oh my gosh, I love this. I've never heard anything like this. Again, I was raised incredibly poor in the poorest part of town. I didn't even know you could get loans or grants or any of that for college. I went into the Army to get college money. Like that's, my family, nobody I knew went to college, none of that stuff. And I had tons of fear. But I read Anthony Robbins and saw that he speaks on stage and does all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I guess I can't do that because how does somebody do that? Who gets that job? I did the same thing, Army. I know, it was so painful. I was absolutely not somebody to go into the Army. But I did to get the college money. And so, I think back and I go, basically everything I did from the moment I decided that I wanted to be Anthony Robbins, really, that's what I wanted. I don't mind, throughout the years, people are like, that kind of stuff, that self-help crap is stupid and personal development stuff. But I've always been fascinated with it. And obviously I read a lot of that. For those of you that are new here, I'm reading about 3 to 5 books a week and trying to implement as much as possible and even trying to remember as much as possible. So obviously I read a lot of that stuff, and I realized that the thing that had stopped me, and I had designed the last 25 years of my life, has been designed around fear. The fear that I had about trying to do the thing that I really wanted to do, I did 100 other things instead, it feels like. I went into an entire industry based on thinking, well, I can't do the thing I want, so I'll do this other thing, because it's kind of close. And then from there, I even went and did yet another thing that's kind of close. Like, even when I started Internet Business Mastery 10 years ago, we've made millions of dollars with that business. But the essence of being able to inspire purpose-driven action, which is what is me, that's my purpose, I'm able to do, but it was only one subcategory of all of life, all of this whole epic life things. Thanks so much for the peach hearts. And by the way, for new people especially, the hearts just let me know you're getting value. I don't think they really do a whole lot else. So if you tap the screen a bunch of times, that gives hearts. But anyway, so all of this came down to, I was thinking this morning how complete crap it's been that for the last 25 years I've been doing everything else but the thing I wanted. And I was like, why? Why in the world was I doing that? And really it seems to be a couple of fears, and a couple of totally bullshit fears. Right? The fear of failure, that's one of them. Right? The fear of failure. So we talk in Internet Business Mastery about the fact that really the only way you can fail is to quit, really. Hey Chris, what's up? Just on a little rant here, just on a rant about fear. All right, so the only way you can fail is to give up. Because if you're still trying, then you haven't failed yet. The only thing you might have failed at is whatever result you were trying to get with that one particular set of actions. Right? So that was the thing. Like I just started encompassing that thought a couple of years ago, and that's what we've talked about Internet Business Mastery in our coaching courses. All of that kind of stuff. We talked about how that's the only way you can fear. So get over that the fear of failing, because as long as you're still going after it, you haven't failed. Fear of uncertainty is what I feel is currently holding me back. Uncertainty, like what? Just that you won't get exactly what you have in your head? Because I'll tell you what, this whole epic life quest stuff that I'm developing right now, and actually I've been developing for 25 years, really. I have a huge mind map of this stuff. But it's funny because now that I know, because of the internet business stuff, now that I know about the 1,000 fan rule, basically if you can get 1,000 people to give you at least $100 once a year, you've got a 6-figure business. And it's incredibly easy to do that. We have $6,000 coaching. Oh, I'm sorry, if you could type that in again. There's this way that you can tap the comments as they're fading and it will come up on the screen and I can read it, but I missed both of those comments, so sorry. I'll pause for them when they come up again. But, so 1,000 true fans we talked about, and I was, like, most people don't make $100,000 a year. Like with Internet Business Mastery, we've been able to do incredibly well financially. But it's funny because even as starting these new things that we're both Jason and I doing, still all the exact same fears as when I was 19 was totally like weighing on me. And I was thinking, what total crap is this? Because now I know that, but it's getting the emotional side to understand it. Because logically we can know, and if we're still having problems emotionally with it, then obviously it continues to stop us. But again, okay, so your post. Yeah, let's see. Your post about 5 fears that can destroy your internet business is one of my favorites. Yeah, thanks so much. And actually, by the way, for you new people, if you go to epicjair.com/epicquest or go to Facebook and type in Epic Life Quest, you can join my Facebook group. I will put that in the notes, James. So I will set that up there so people can see it. Because, yeah, like I was finding that I was actually getting through some things, but only things in little categories where I wasn't as afraid, really, or I didn't have as much skin in the game. Whereas this Epic Life Quest stuff, again, I've wanted to do since I was 19, and that's where all of the fear was coming back. It's so funny because the internet business stuff, when Jason and I started that 10 years ago, we started it for fun. We weren't actually planning on making money with it. We were just doing it so Jason could become the podcast expert. So it's really weird. I didn't have the same fears and stuff about it because it was a hobby. And it was a hobby, that obviously went on to do incredibly well and be number one in internet business in iTunes for 10 years and just all the other, we've been able to speak all over the world. But I didn't have the same fear for it because, again, it started for fun. So it's weird, this whole fear of failure thing. I guess the idea, trying to get that emotional stuff to understand that if you try something and it doesn't work, it's not failure. You just, whatever you did didn't work. I'm becoming epic. Oh, all right. IBM. Awesome. Yeah, so you're doing the IBM stuff, right? The Academy is the course that we have with Internet Business Mastery. But anyway, so that's what I was trying to think of today. I was like going, this is total crap. Like I can't even believe I still have these fears because in the end, we've got this life. What else are you going to do? Be average? Like, it's total crap to be afraid. And so I know I'm absolutely not going to quit. So the fear of failure hopefully will completely go away. So that's kind of the first thing right there, is every single day I'm going to write this down. It's going to be part of my morning routine, reminding myself that the only way to fail is to quit. It's so funny because I talk about that, like I end the Internet Business Mastery podcast with that phrase from time to time. And it's so funny because really I was trying to tell myself that about this Epic Life Quest stuff. Right? Rather than, because I didn't have a fear of failing with Internet Business Mastery because it started for fun. And then when we started getting money, it was like getting paid to do something I already thought was fun. Whereas I put so much weight and so much like interest in the Epic Life thing or being able to do this kind of like personal development stuff that I didn't start it because of that fear of failure. Right? Like the fear, oh, nobody's going to care about this or whatever. But now I'm going, look, 1,000 people, when there's like 7 billion people on the planet, you can live off of something you're interested in with just 1,000 true fans willing to, again, pay you $100 a year. That's nothing. Again, we have $6,000 coaching students. Right? So that's one of the things I was thinking today. Like, I've got to get over this because these fears, most of these fears come from back when, like they're evolutionary type fears of when we lived in tribes of 150 people and obviously having people, see you as a failure you could get kicked out and you die on your own. Yeah, 1,000 people makes out to seem much more attainable. Yeah, 1,000 people, that's it. Like, I look in some of these groups about complete nonsense things. To me, they're nonsense. And they got 12,000 people, right? Just 1,000 people. And then you're creating enough value that they're willing to give you $100 a year, right? You could even do some sort of a membership, even if the membership is just to a Facebook group for $10 a month and have that with 1,000 people. It's even more, right? $120,000. Just with that, $10 a month, 1,000 people. So anyway, so this morning, I just was thinking about that. And the other one is the fear of judgment, which is also comes to the idea of being shamed and ostracized from the group, right? Like, again, back, like how long ago was it that we lived in little tribes? Like, it's been a long time because the fear of judgment then, or the fear of doing something odd then, or doing your dream goal wasn't a possibility. Because if you were ostracized from the group, you literally could die on your own. And that has been so long ago, and we still have that fear as part of our like genetic makeup. I've read a lot about that. And like, that is not the case now. But we're fighting like these like entire human history genetics. But I'm trying to drill it into my head, drill it into your head that is nonsense now. That is complete crap. The fear of judgment, like, it's so funny. I think of every once in a while I'll see a comment, like a mean comment on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. And I'll think, why be afraid of that? Some coward sitting somewhere in the world has some opinion about what you said. Why would we ever worry about what some dumb coward says? Right, like, and I've talked about before that the only people I worry about their opinion are people I already respect, and I know that they know what I'm trying to do. And when they give me their critique, it's a value to me because I know they know what I want to do with what I'm trying to put out into the world. Why would I care what somebody that has no clue, hasn't even asked what my goal is with what I'm doing? Why would I give a crap about what that idiot thinks? And that's literally what I think when I see cowards like piling on somebody on a YouTube video, right? Like, coward, where's your show? Where's what you're doing for the world? You know, you're sitting, you know, in your mom's basement talking smack about people. Like, that's the fear of judgment we're dealing with. We're stopping ourselves because of cowards. Like, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to be hardcore about this. I'll count family and friends too that don't support you, right? Because I definitely have cowards that are no longer in my life that were family and friends that said I couldn't do what I was doing, right? And it's so funny because some of the people that said I was absolutely crazy to leave a 6-figure job to go do this internet business stuff 10 years ago, I've seen them sign up for my course. So they tracked me and went, oh my gosh, he's doing well. What is, you know what I mean? Like, what happened? I better go check this out. And they were the ones, you know, and they really weren't, it wasn't about me. It was about their own fears, right? It's about probably this fear of failure and the fear of judgment. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I've seen that multiple times. I tell us a story about a friend of mine that bought these yoga mats to go into business. Has anybody heard the yoga mat story? Do you guys remember that one? Yeah, so finding an awesome support system is huge. Yeah, you guys have heard the yoga mat. So the yoga mat story really quickly is a friend of mine that I worked with back when I worked in my cubicle office. After I started doing business, you know, maybe 5 years, when I was doing really well, you know, he had said, "Oh my God, you just went through Europe speaking? Like, that's so crazy." And knew that we had hit 7 figures with the business and all that kind of stuff. He went out and bought 10,000 yoga mats and had them design kind of designer yoga mats. And the last time we talked, he said he sold, I think, 12 total. But at the time of my story, he had sold like 8 out of 10,000. Like, he spent his whole life savings on this. Fear of loss yet? There's nothing lost. Yeah, yeah, it's so crazy because that's funny because that was a fear when I left my job. Again, I had a 6-figure job when I left. I literally just left the job to go figure this out. And I thought, what's going to happen if this doesn't work? I'll go get a job. Right? Like, I'm not going to just instantly die if I try and do this thing I really want to do and it doesn't work the way I want it to work. I'm not going to just instantly die. I'll just get a job. Like, I would have been doing the job during that time anyway. So it's total crap. So anyway, that fear of judgment is, that's mostly gone in me. Mostly it's that fear of not being able to achieve that big thing that I absolutely wanted to do. So how many people, just out of curiosity, how many people have those same 2 fears, failure and judgment? Did you have a large security net when you left your job? Well, I guess it depends on what you think large is. I think I had somewhere around 20 grand. That was about it. 25 grand maybe. Yeah, failure, that's yours. Yeah, judgment for sure. Like, just think of how crazy that is, that we're afraid of what other people are going to think about us doing the thing we want to do. I'll tell you what, when I started, I lost a lot of friends. Mostly my choice, though. They were almost embarrassed, yeah, judgment, especially from loved ones. Yeah, what others think of me. Like, here's the thing. Here's what's happened since. So the friends that I had then, and even some family members, I'll tell you what, again, total transparency. When I started this, I was married. And it wasn't the only reason that I'm not married now, but it was part of the reason. Going for this thing completely different. put a strain on that. But I decided my job is in a family business, and it's even worse. Oh my gosh, yeah. They would have even more reason for you hopefully not to succeed, possibly because you're contributing to that, and maybe what you're doing with the family business, they don't want to have to replace you for that, right? Because you're part of the family. There could be a lot of things about that one, right? Thanks again for the hearts, by the way. But since since I left, and I finally, the people that I was friends with back then, they all worked a job. They all had that, whether they wanted to do something else or not, I actually don't know. I don't think every single person goes, oh my gosh, I long to do these big, great, epic things. I think actually most people don't ever even think that at all. Ordinary is fine. I don't even think they think of it as ordinary. It's just life, right? But I wanted epic. I really wanted epic. That's why I actually even did the job I did before this, is I thought it was far more epic. But then I realized, oh, it's just a job. I'm making widgets like everybody else. And I thought I was this artist and all this kind of stuff, doing really well, doing this epic thing. But when I read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, I went, oh my gosh, there's even another level of epic, right, that you can go do. And then once I started doing internet business, I started going, oh my gosh, there's like change the world type epic. Why not go do that? The other things happened. Now, did they happen exactly how I wanted? Sometimes similar, sometimes not, whatever. But anyway, so back to the idea of epic friends. Oh my God, this is better than going to church today. Great message. Oh, good. This was just me ranting even to myself. And I thought, I'll just rant on here, for the epic people. I used to be the same way until I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know, that thing made me completely unemployable. And it's so funny, I read it maybe a few years ago. I listened to it and went, man, it's such a simple message. It's not even like this super great book. And it didn't even really tell you what to do next. But it changed that mindset. I had no choice. I literally read that book and went, I am now unemployable. Like, now just being at a job is painful. Yeah, I read the cash flow quadrant like the next week. Same thing, Chris. So anyway, I'll tell you what. So the people, the friends that I had in my life back then, with the exception of, I had a couple of friends that were already, let's say, pre-epic. And actually one of them, if you're in the Internet Business Mastery Academy, one of them's name's Martin Carlton. He's in there all the time. One of my best friends from back in my Hollywood days, right? But it's funny, the people I was friends with there, we all had jobs. We all hated our jobs. Like, it's really, really rare. I've rarely found, maybe there's been some friends that I have that are in medical fields and different fields like that where they're doing their thing. They love it. My brother's wife is a nurse. She completely loves it, right? But it's really rare. Maybe out of everyone I know, 2 people, other than in this internet business world, a lot of those people love what they're doing, and that's why they're doing it. But in real world, we'll call it, most people do not love what they're doing. And my mind goes, why are you doing it then? It makes no sense to me. It has to still be these fears, not believing they can do it, and the fear of judgment from family and friends for going and trying something that they would rather do instead. And so all of those friends from back in the day, back when I worked a job, that I'm not friends with anymore, totally normal people, just like I was then. And again, with this idea of wanting to have an epic life, trying to go to that epic. But everyone I knew back then, with just a few exceptions, did not have that drive, did not have that desire. Like, if you're going to live, like, we choose to live, right? Like, you could end it right now, but we choose it. So what's the excuse at that point? If you wake up and you go, okay, I'm alive, I didn't have control of that part. I do have the control of if I continue to stay alive right in this moment. And if I'm going to do that, why not be epic, right? So anyway, those friends I'm not friends with anymore. They didn't have that desire. But I'll tell you what, the friends I have now are epic. Like, why not develop that? I've lost people that I stayed a lot in contact with in my family. We don't speak all that much. They absolutely had no interest in what I was trying to accomplish in my life, and they had no interest in doing it themselves. And we just have less in common now. Yeah, it'll happen. Just because you were born in this specific family, that wasn't your choice. I think drive begins with awareness. It's directly proportional to how self-aware we are. Yeah. So yeah, and it's a controversial thing to go, hey, if you don't want to be around somebody for any reason, don't. Who cares if they have the title of brother? Right? Like, that's your choice. You can do whatever you want. I mean, I ended up not being around almost every single one of those friends from back there. But again, the people I have now, like, I have a handful of books on this shelf right now. My friends wrote now, my epic friends, books on this shelf right now. Friends from back then, who knows? What are they doing? They're still working whatever job. I love that you're talking about this. Yeah, thanks. It's just what I was feeling this morning. I was almost like just furious, partially at myself for still having some of these fears and going, like, I know a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, and yet we still have this stuff going through our heads. So what if you don't? Like, I have sisters and other family members that still don't know what it is I do. Like, I'll tell you, like 5 years ago, when I saw my dad for a barbecue, he goes, so what is it you're gonna do, or what is it you do? Is it legal? Is it legal? What? Like, his fear about what it is, this whole internet, obviously he doesn't really do the internet and all that. I think the fear of losing family is hard to deal with the most. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't do a lot of that type of family barbecuing anymore. We don't have stuff in common. And this is a hardcore thing to talk about. Nobody talks about this in the internet marketing world that I know of. I did. I chose it, though. It's great to hear that I'm not the only one dealing with this. This is awesome. Yeah, still after all these years, after everything that I've done with business, still fear all this stuff. And I'll tell you what, there's a large part of what happened with Internet Business Mastery, or what, let's just say, didn't happen with Internet Business Mastery, because of Jason and my still having fear. Yeah, and I have nothing in common. I mean, just because, like, we're born into our family, there's no, it's not voluntary, right? And I'm huge on voluntary interactions. It's my political beliefs. It's voluntary value exchange is what I do with business. You know, I'm not putting a gun to somebody's head and saying, buy the Internet Business Mastery Academy. I believe in creating value and receiving value back voluntarily. Well, thinking of that with the family, you don't have to be around somebody just because they have the title of a family member. And if they're not giving towards this, like my brother, he loves what I'm doing. It becomes hard to understand people who don't seek an epic life. Yeah, life based on design. Yeah, this is crazy. Why be around those people? I'll tell you what, when you make the change and you make that decision, the people you're around are completely different. I have two friends now that are some of the smartest human beings I've ever even known existed. And it all came because I was trying to be epic, and I put myself in a place where I could meet other epic people rather than constantly being around. Like my best friend from high school, there came a time where we had lunch maybe 7 years ago, and he told me something that made me go, oh, okay. He said, because I was showing him all about this internet business stuff, right? Like he was my best friend since we were in like 8th grade, and I'm like going, I'll totally teach you this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've been friends, right? You get inside access. People pay $6,000 to be able to have not even the access you'll get. And he goes, yeah, I don't really have ambition. He goes, I realized, how do you find epic or pre-epic people other than online? Well, it starts with online. I'll tell you what, one of the smartest human beings I know, his name's Wes Bertrand, and I met him at a podcast meetup. What about someone you think isn't epic but don't want to lose? Well, that's completely your choice. This happened to me yesterday with an old friend. Yeah, like, and I'll tell you what, here's what happened. My friend said, yeah, I'm not ambitious. I don't really care about that. And I haven't talked to him since. Not because he's a bad person, not because, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not judging him as a bad person. I want to be around epic. I want to be around epic, period.
And if that means I have a lot fewer friends, because I definitely have a lot fewer friends now, but the friends I have now are insanely epic, and what they're trying to do with their life and for the world inspires me constantly. Right? Like, we talk about Pat Flynn in Internet Business Mastery, but, we were friends. We became friends because he was inside our academy and he worked for us for quite a while. And he and I would meet every single week. But I was like, this kid, his first month, made like 7 or 8 grand online because he's epic. He already is. Right? Like, and I was like, I would rather wait and have one of those friends than 50 friends that they choose ordinary. And again, I don't see them as bad for doing that. I just want to filter myself in and be with the people that want to get rid of the fear of judgment, want to get rid of the fear of failure, and be epic with this life that we have. Right? So anyway, that's kind of my rant. I don't know if there's any questions. I just thought rather than, go kind of into the normal, every once in a while I might do these rants because this is the stuff I'm thinking about. And I realized I was kind of being a little bit more, thanks for the hearts, guys. I was kind of being a little bit more teaching like I did on Internet Business Mastery rather than doing some of this rant stuff that I'm into. And by the way, if you're new, I do all sorts of stuff regarding the mindset book. Who's the author? Carol Dweck. Maybe you can take a screen cap of that. Can you see that okay? This is going to be my #1 book on my book recommendation list. Because getting this mindset thing right, and that's really what triggered me to be thinking about this fear of failure and stuff. Because this book talks about there's the growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset. And fixed mindset people, think that their intellect and their personality is fixed, and they just have to win with what they have. These rants really validate how many of us feel. Awesome. Well, that's good because I think I'm going to be doing a lot more of them. I think of this stuff all the time, surrounding yourself with people who know they can change things instead of those who complain. Yeah, fixed mindset. I realized, again, most of those people I'm talking about in the past, they did think they were fixed. They thought, well, this is just going to be my life. And to be honest, my ex-wife, 100% fixed. And in fact, when we had one of our final discussions being married, she said, this is who I am. There's no changing this. You've known me since I was 17. This is who I've always been. And I went, yeah, I'm a growth person. Like, I want to be able to grow, and I want to be around people who go, wow, this didn't work about myself yesterday. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to grow. I'm going to go to the next level. And I just was like, I'm not going to be held back by people who don't choose to be epic. Period. And if that makes me an asshole, so be it. I mean, it's funny because I know a lot of you know me from Internet Business Mastery, and I have to stay pretty PG. We keep the business stuff PG, but that's the kind of thing I'm like, this is bullshit to stay ordinary or be held back by ordinary just because we've been friends or family or whatever. Screw that. Like, again, I have epic human beings in my life now and constantly trying to develop and meet new people. Like the woman I'm around now, as opposed to my wife's fixed mindset, is unbelievably phenomenal. I didn't even know someone like her existed. Right? I didn't even know. And in fact, the last few years before I met her, I didn't know if she would exist really. But it's a matter of making yourself to the level to which you can be around epic people. Another just little side rant on that is, it's so funny. There's so much that I see written in the internet business world and even the personal development world. The secret stuff, where just think it and great things will happen. No, make yourself of such high value, you connect with other high value people. You have to take the action. Be worth it. Be an epic person being friends with you because you're epic. You're not going to have those people be friends with you if you're not already doing the same thing, right? All right, so there you go. I don't know. I could probably just say the same things over and over again. Any questions? Anything else? Again, if you're new, let me see. Nope, I don't have it. Epic. epicjair.com/ Epic Quest, and you can join the Facebook group. We're going to talk more about this. We're going to get more hardcore about this kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm still going to talk about things like this book. But I'm posting a lot of stuff there. I also just got this one here. Epic happy, or hardwire, everything's epic now. Hardwiring happiness. Damn it, I don't have epic friends because I'm not epic yet. The world isn't crazy enough to reward undeserving people. Yeah. What's that a quote from? I know we just talked about that recently. Know you are worthy, that is epic. Yeah, you have to actually be epic to have epic friends. If the people around you are not like wanting you, oh, Charles Munger, right. Yeah, we talked about that with the 67 steps, right? Charles Munger. If the people around you, you're like, gosh, everybody wants ordinary, everybody celebrates ordinary, everybody, kind of looks at what I'm trying to do, whether it's with internet business or just any of the epic things, and they go, yeah, why are you doing that? That's so stupid. Like, I'll tell you what, when I started doing the internet business stuff, everyone I knew at the time or that I talked to about it went, that stuff's fake. You're dumb. You're going to be ripped off by it. And I mean, like, to the credit of being just a normal person, that's what you would think it is. But I'll tell you what, even the first thing I bought about internet business, I was able to I got up to $16,000 a month from that thing that was supposedly fake and going to rip me off. Raising your circle of influence is critical. It absolutely is. Yeah, so here's some of my friends that you might know now if you're in the internet business world. Pat Flynn, Jamie Tardy, we talk all the time. Chris Ducker, like these people want to change the world. Natalie Sisson, you know what I mean? Like these are the people I talk to, and when we go to these events and stuff, they're trying to do big things with their life. And every time we talk, I go, "Oh my gosh, you're doing that? That's insane!" And then even friends in my regular life, the guy I hang out with really the most around in Salt Lake City just bought a Tesla yesterday. He does internet business too. He does, I think it's called Smart Money Millionaire. It's horrible. We've been friends for 6 years and I can't remember his business. He owns his own family bank. He was teaching me banking. How to have your own bank. Like, that's the type of person, like my friend, my high school friend that I no longer see now, we would split the bill. And the last time we had dinner, I went, yeah, I got it. And he was like counting out change. And that's, again, my judgment isn't that he's a bad person for that, but I didn't want to count out the change, right? I wanted to go, I'll pay for you and everybody else here. Like, I don't care. That's epic to me. I don't want to, make sure we split the bill evenly. Right? My friends now, we don't do that. We just, one of us pays the bill. It makes no difference. So that all comes with getting over these levels of fear of judgment and the fear of failure and even fear of success. I mean, that's a whole separate thing as well. All right, guys. Whew. Anything else? Hate that. Yeah, such a pet peeve. Yeah, I haven't even thought of that. Like, one of the things I wanted to do when I started internet business was I never wanted to look at the price of gas. I never wanted to speak about things that were so petty and minor to me that it was total crap. Like, I think back when, in my early 20s, and I would go to the gas station that I knew had 3 cents cheaper. Really? That's what I'm wasting my time with? I would look in the paper and go, ooh, I can get this computer component. It's $5 less. But I would drive like halfway across town to go get that dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like I would spend $5 in gas to go get that $5 off coupon. I refuse to use coupons now. I don't even care if it would help. I try very hard never to think that way. I don't look at gas. I drive a big SUV. I want to have the things that, bring value to me, this one life, right? All right. Anything else you want me to rant about? Was that useful at all? I think I'm going to do some more things. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Yeah, it's kind of weird to go on the rant thing. Keep going. Well, Awesome. Great information. All right. Well, good. Good. I guess I could talk just a little bit more about this book, because this is originally what I was going to talk about. Actually, I realized I thought I was pretty much a growth person. Again, this talks about fixed mindset and growth mindset, right? And I thought I was a growth mindset person, and I realized with Internet Business Mastery, I had become a fixed mindset really quickly. Because we had success so quickly, I basically went, ooh, the way I thought then, and the process I had of thinking then, and even the information I had then, I figured, okay, that's fixed. That's the thing that made me successful. So I had to stay in that category. And it was actually just a couple of days ago when I started reading this that I realized that, oh my God, I'm totally fixed in that realm, in the way of business. And that's how some of our students were able to rocket past us in certain places in certain ways, which, was a weird thing for Jason and I. And it was because we were so fixed in how we were doing things. We go, nope, we got to do it this way, because that was the way that created the success, instead of thinking that success is actually fluid. Right? Like, it's a fluid moving thing. It's not just one way. I mean, if you think about, do you think you niched too much? Oh, no, it's not that at all. Not Internet business and Internet Business Mastery. The niche itself is monstrous. The tiny slice of that business, or the tiny slice of that niche, still makes us millions of dollars. No, that's not. It's not the niche at all. And by niched, what we do is we teach a very specific type of internet business, kind of becoming the expert, and for beginners only. But we have courses now that you might not even see, because we only focus on beginners on our website, internetbusinessmastery.com, and all that kind of stuff. But we have, I don't know, like 5 or 6 different courses catering to different levels. So it's not totally niched, but it was our mindset that was making us go, oh, well, we can only do this certain way. And I just realized that. I don't even know yet for sure what to do with this knowledge of going, again, I thought I was such a growth mindset person, and I am in certain ways, but I got very, very focused down and fixed on a lot of things, because when you get success for the first time ever, you go, oh, what did I do? I don't want to mess it up. Is your income just from IBM? Mostly now it is. Most of it. One of my old business, actually the first business I started, an eBay business that I started, I still get, I guess, kind of a residual check for that. I actually sold the business to my brother who runs it, and he gives me income back from that up to a certain point, and then he doesn't have to pay me anymore. So he's kind of paying me off that way. So I get income from those 2 sources. But yeah, now it's 90-something% Internet Business Mastery is my income. But yeah, breaking through that fixed mindset and thinking that, oh, well, because I acted this certain way to get it, I can't act any different. I can't grow. I have to act like I'm still, like when I started Internet Business Mastery, it was Sterling and Jay, me and Jason. I was Sterling, he was Jay, and there was a certain way we acted on the show, which is really hard to break. And if you've heard any of the recent shows, the one on Periscope and one that actually comes out next week about Facebook groups and stuff like that, we're starting to open up a little bit more. I think we're still going to keep it PG, because one time in the show somebody said shit, which was Perry Belcher, and we got emails saying, oh my gosh, why are you guys having swearing now in your show? My kids listen to this show. So I like being able to keep that a certain way, but it's making sure I don't have this fixed mindset that we can't evolve and grow is what I was doing with it. And I just realized that with this book. And almost every single one of my friends in the past that did not come with me to, let's call it epic. Epic people can handle curses. Yeah. I swear like a sailor sometimes. And, in my Hollywood days, everyone on movie sets swears so much The F word, saying fuck, is an adjective. It's a now. It's everything. So even doing internet business mastery, at first I had to pull back so heavily because I was so used to very, very different than that. But yeah, and epic people are going to look at the content, and if they don't like your delivery, then they'll go find the person that does, and good. Only need 1,000 people, right? Like, we have to keep remembering that in the world of being epic, as far as the making the money goes, having that value exchange, just got to find those 1,000 fans. I constantly think of that. And you can make those 6 figures. Now, with Internet Business Mastery, you know, we're closer to 6,000 people that we have, and obviously that's where the money starts changing, and it's exponential. It's not just every 1,000 fans you're going to make 6 figures. There's a level of I just forgot the word that I just said, exponential. Right? Because, you know, one of our first products is $7, but then we have a $6,000 product, right? So that growth can happen really quickly. Carolina, what's up? Came in at the end. I've just been ranting about total crap fears. The fear of failure and the fear of judgment. But I will be putting, oh, you just scoped. How did it go? I'll be putting this up in the Facebook group. Again, Epic Life Quest. Type that into Facebook and join the Facebook group. Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. That's an interesting one. That's not one I've... Gosh, I'm going to be known by being really tardy all the time. Yeah, you come in at the end. You're the end person that comes in now. Allow all the way to epic. Yeah. Maybe I just did by being late. Right. Well, again, the replay, I'm going to put that up in about the next, 20 minutes after I'm done with this, I'm going to do it. But again, we were just talking about how complete bullshit it is to have the fear of failure. Because as long as you don't quit, you're not going to fail. My scope went great. Didn't plan it. Just felt like it at the park. Yeah, that's funny because literally this rant that I went on today, rather than the normal kind of teaching that I do, was because I went for my walk this morning as part of my morning routine. I've got this walk that I do, and I was more ranting about this to myself, going, man, why do I still have little fears about some of this stuff? And what complete crap it is, 25 years later, I still have the same fear of wanting to do this epic stuff that I did at age 19. I'm 44 now, and I still have that same fear as when I was a kid. Like, that's complete crap. And then the fear of judgment, right? The fear of people going, oh, other people are already doing what you're doing. Why are you going to do it, right? It's the most people that have attended so far. Awesome. I think that's huge that you're asking yourself why, though. Yeah. And that's always the key to the growth mindset stuff is asking that why, right? Like, why are you thinking that? Who's going to judge me, right? Are they epic people? Because I'll tell you what, the friends of mine that I have that are epic, if they give me criticism, I'll listen because I don't just take anybody's criticism. You've got to be epic already for me to take a critique. Because you have to know what my goal is, right? Like, you have to know what I'm trying to do before you can judge me on it. Because how can you judge somebody on something if you don't know what their intent is? Right? So if their intent is one thing and then their action isn't congruent with that, then maybe saying something, oh, well, you want to do this, but your actions are the exact opposite, then they can go, oh, wow, I can learn from that. I didn't realize that that's what it comes across as. My kid is judging me right now because I haven't fed her. Yeah, you want to do that. Definitely get that food going. I stopped explaining myself to people. Yeah, the only people I have to ask them for their critique. And I want it. I only ask if I do want it. Hey, is it looking like I'm doing what I said I wanted to do? And if they're like, well, in these 3 categories, yes, but no, then I'll take what they said and process. Do I agree with them? If the answer is no, it's over. I don't think any more about it. I have my other iPad going. Admitting we don't know is the gateway to learning. Is that the beginning of epicness? Yeah, for sure. Because if you don't know, then it's a matter of going and finding out that information and having, from this mindset book, having the growth mindset to go. Just because I don't know doesn't mean I can't do it. Right? Like it talked about the fixed mindset is somebody thinking that they have talent and that they can only do what their talent gives them, instead of a growth mindset that goes, oh, if I don't know how to do something, I'll just go learn how to do it. And I will create the skill through, what is the word? Through actually, taking the action, really. Effort. Effort is the word. You can get that, you just have to do the effort. Practice, exactly. Right, just figured that out. Yeah, so you can do anything. Like, it's so funny because when Pat Flynn started, Smart Passive Income, he's just some guy. Like, he came to a little mastermind group or an actual meetup group for Academy members. He hadn't done any of it yet, and he just came in and said, yeah, I think I'm going to do this thing. Right? And I was like, well, we'll see. Because you absolutely can do the thing, but most people don't. Most people have the intent, but they don't do the action. And who gives a crap about intent? Intent literally means nothing, I'll tell you. You know right away if people are epic because they won't judge. They try to get you to answer your own questions. Right. Right. Most people were taught to be employees. Yeah, and actually, that's a whole other rant I could go on to. Obviously, almost every educational system out there is training you to be an employee, to listen to authority. That was one of the other things that is a part of who I am. Does anybody know what an iconoclast is? Because I realized I was an iconoclast very, very early, that I don't just take authority from somebody unless they prove their authority. And we're taught to only listen to authority. I never felt in my element as an employee. Yeah, it's so funny because I did for a while, but only because I was going after something I thought was this big goal that I had. Are epic people typically high achievers? It depends on what that is, because one of my really, really good friends, another incredibly smart guy, his high achievement is in one particular category of relationships, and he does start businesses and he sells them, but business isn't his main epicness, let's call it. He doesn't. Money is very much just the idea of exchange, and he'll start something because it's interesting to him, and do it until the moment it's not interesting, and then he'll sell it, and then he'll live off that money until something else strikes him as interesting. And so, but that's not the area where he happens to be incredibly epic in. I think it depends on what achiever means for the person. Yeah, achievement and success are different things. Yeah, because here's the thing with epic, and again, I'm still trying to write the whole base outline about that in the Facebook group. I think epic is more of a mindset than an achievement. Yeah, I would put it that way because somebody to them somebody might have a different element of what epic is for them. Epic doesn't have to. You don't have to look at my specific definition of what I think epic is for me. It's the idea of heroic and majestic, and to me, the epic is living my life in a way that would make an interesting movie. You know what I mean? To me, that I would watch it and go, damn right, look at that. Look at what, oh man, tried that, it didn't work, but awesome, look what it led to. Like, I would like to see that movie. That's what, when I wake up in the morning, being in the moment fully, yeah, that's cool. I want to be able to, right before I die, go, oh my God, my life was worthy of me watching it as, this big epic movie. And that's how I think in the day. When I get up in the morning, I'm like, even if I'm a little bit tired or anything, I go, yeah, do I want to be tired or do I want to be epic? Do I want to be sad about things or do I want to switch that and be epic? Because, as Carolina was talking about, in the moment, this is all we have. Today, Sunday, this is it. This is all you have right now. We don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. We don't know any of that. We only have the fact that right now it's still working out for us. We're still alive. And if you're choosing to be alive, why not choose epic? Why choose ordinary or today I'm tired? Get over it. Take a nap and then go be epic. I think epic just means not doing what others in our society expects from you. Well, here's the thing. I definitely don't want to make any judgments or decisions on what non-epic people think. I'm not trying to not be like other people. I'm trying to be like what epic is to me. Yeah, take a nap and then go be epic. Yeah, why not? Again, thanks for all the hearts. Just ranting. If you're just coming in, just ranting about a lot of things, actually, about being epic right now. But getting over all these bullshit fears, mostly. A nap can be epic, yes. Part of my routine is after I do my afternoon read, because I read 3 different times a day because I'm trying to read 3 to 5 books a week. If I need maybe a 20-minute quick nap, I'll do it, because why not? I've had epic naps. Well, if I wake up from the nap and I've got the energy to continue being epic, then boom, yeah, it was an epic nap. Why not? A non-US person, how is epic different from awesome? It just depends on how you define it, I guess. Epic to me, the idea behind epic is heroic, majestic, like having this unbelievably exciting life to yourself and going and getting through all the fears, getting through all the mindset that gets in the way of doing whatever you may want, no matter what that would be. Like, for instance, I started looking at buying a property with a lot of land because I've been slacking in my reading, not epic. Yeah, right. So I had been looking at buying land to be able to have maybe a small little garden and even maybe a small little farm. And I found a guy, his name's Joe Salatin, and he writes all about eating, organic and how he rotates his crops and how he rotates his animals. And his entire life is about helping people eat the most high quality food. And he lives on a farm, and he trains other people to be farmers in this very, very specific way, so that we're getting them absolute most healthy fuel. So he lives on a farm. He's a farmer. How is that not epic? Like, it might not be epic for me to be a farmer because that's not my drive, but you get to choose what epic is. You get to choose what, if being on a farm, on a 5-acre farm even, is epic, and maybe being on a 10-acre farm and selling your food at a farmer's market. He's actually an epic farmer. Yeah, exactly. Joe Salatin. He runs Polyface Farms. I studied him a bit, and in fact, I have a couple of his books up here about the farming stuff because I was really, really interested in that idea. Yeah, you get to choose. I don't get to choose what epic for you is, right? And anybody that tells you how it's got to be like that, I would beware. Anyway, that's a whole other topic that gets me on. That's why, like as far as being epic, it means, all these different levels of freedom. He's huge in the movement of sustainability and local. Yeah, absolutely. He's a big guy in all of that. Oh, Polyface Farms. I've been looking into that. Yeah. You're certainly a great example. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just doing it for me. It's me, and then if it brings value to other people, then awesome. Because I like that value, that being able to create value for other people and do it in the exact way that you want to do. Because again, I realized for the last 4 weeks, I've been scoping now. This is my 4th week, Sunday this morning. I started Sunday 4 weeks ago, and I've been more teaching like I did with Internet Business Mastery. Hearts to epic lives. Yes, thank you for the hearts. Yeah, they're right here. Again, I think I'm framed right. All the messages are going here. I've got it marked on my desk now. I've got lights for night. I'm totally into this. I absolutely love it. God, what was I? I was talking about something. I got sidetracked. Too many sidetracks. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to chat about before I go? There's about a 10-second delay, so give you a second to type. See if I can remember what I was talking about. 9:16, right at the end. Everyday gravity. Last Sunday was concert. Today, oh right, yeah, I went to the Howard Jones concert. I actually don't know. I don't have my plans today. Huge cup, yeah. Got to have lots of water. 32 ouncer. Gosh, I was talking about something. Got too sidetracked. Hey Phil, so I don't know, what other fears? And by the way, again, if you don't already follow the Facebook group, go to Facebook, type in Epic Life Quest, and get into that group. I'm going to have show notes for this, or scope notes we call it. Can every day be epic? Farming, yeah, I was talking about. Absolutely, why not? Why would you, if you want to be epic in your life, why would you let one day go by and not be epic? Even if today is going to be about rest, not using Periscope like IBM. Oh, right, yeah. Okay, I'll get back to that. You can be epic even if today is going to be about resting. Why not? But make the resting be something that will really give you rest. Right? Like a lot of times, rest ends up being distraction, whether it's spending the entire day watching some TV show or whatever. You were talking about how for the first 3 weeks you were teaching like IBM. Yes. But anyway, so yeah, the epic, make what it is you're doing something worthy of being heroic and, again, the majestic. I love the idea of epic, what it actually means. Awesome seems, somebody asked about awesome. Awesome seems more like, yeah, that was really cool. But epic is a whole other way of life. Living your life like you're the hero of your own movie. Like hero of a movie that you would be willing to watch. That I like. I like that concept. But yeah, I was teaching a little bit more like I do Internet Business Mastery, where I have to have 5 points, and I'm going to teach exactly 5 points. Now I'm going to still do some of that stuff, but I also want to be able to start doing these rants and hopefully turn off the wrong people. Because I always worry about that. That was part of the fear of being judged that I talked about earlier. Came from going, oh, if I actually am totally myself as opposed to a persona. Because on Internet Business Mastery, Jeremy on that, you know, I have to be PG, and we're being a very specific way. And I have some pretty outside of the norm beliefs. Of course, I consider them to be epic, but we don't talk about them on the show. You know, we're just talking about internet business and getting people inspired to go do internet business. So I'm trying to get more and more like I am when I talk to my friends, my already epic friends. That's what I'm trying to make these scopes be. Okay, so David said one of the top 10 things not to do on Scope is to stop in a sentence and read a comment. Well, guess what? Here's the cool thing about Periscope. You can do it however the damn well you want. If I want it to stop in the middle, I will. There's no such thing as rules on Periscope yet. People are saying there are, but you can, it's your scope. You're in my room. You're in my house right now. I can do it exactly the way I want. And you should do it that way too. People who don't like it can freaking leave, right? They can go. I'm only looking for my 10,000 fans, people who like to hear from me, right? People who sit through 1 hour scope on a Sunday. There we go. Epic lives don't have rules. Yeah, you get to choose who's epic. Nobody else gets to tell you how to do it. Right? Make your own rules. That's why I love it. Yep, too right. So, God, there was another question. Thank you for the wise words. Live your life like you're the superhero of your own movie. Yeah, here's something that I wanted to do with this whole epic idea. How many people have heard of The Writer's Journey or The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell? Give you a second. The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, or The Writer's Journey by, I'd have to find it. I've got it up on the thing. I have. Okay. What that is it's basically the idea of how mythology, what the cycle of mythology has been. Ooh, I need to figure out what my epic superpower is. Yeah, we're going to actually talk more about that. And that'll be part of finding your strength, right? But anyway, so the hero's journey is the idea of how stories are told. And what I wanted to design this epic life stuff in is figuring out what that hero's journey is, and all of us knowing how people write. Like, if you think about it, Star Wars is a great example. The original, what's it called? The New Hope, A New Hope, was written exactly in the hero's journey. We start in the ordinary world, right? We start with Luke Skywalker, and he's in his ordinary world, and then some big thing happened, and he's called to an adventure, right? Or we can even look at The Matrix. I just watched The Matrix a couple of days ago, and in that, most people have seen The Matrix 2 as well as Star Wars, but we're starting in the ordinary world, and that's what I'm going to do with this. Is the hero's journey is all about total transformation in the end. Yeah, absolutely. It is the full arc of the hero's journey is really what an epic life is. So, Neo in The Matrix, he starts in his ordinary world. He's bored. He works at his crummy job. He's got these little side things that he's trying to do to keep himself interested. And then he's called to adventure with Morpheus, right? And then he goes on this insane epic journey where he becomes a hero. Right? And that, to me, is what the epic life is. And that's what I'm designing a system about being able to go from that ordinary world and transform and have that life that is worth a movie. Like, it's worth being able to watch that movie. And I'll tell you what, I'm listening to biographies now. So I read everything but biographies. Biographies I listen to, and I'm listening right now to Elon Musk. And basically, the lives that Elon Musk, I listened to Jeff Bezos, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I listened to last month. Who else did I listen to? I've got a whole list of them. But they have a hero's journey. Their lives, they made their lives, they're just normal people who made their lives worthy of a movie, right? Of a movie that they would want to watch. Who cares if anybody else wants to watch? Yeah, Michael Jordan, that's the other one. Yeah, he just wanted to do it and did it. Right? And to get over the idea that we have to have a certain talent to do certain things, that's where this book talks about people who just simply believe in talents. Oh, I don't have that talent, so I guess I can't do it. Have a fixed mindset. And if you want to achieve epic, you got to have a growth mindset, which is this is the book I'm working on right now. And that's what that is. Jeremy, how did you know Jason was the right person? Okay, yeah, that's a good question. And he falls into that epic part. He was the first person I met that was already doing the internet business thing. He had a course, he rented a room, he got a camera, and people paid him to come listen to him talk about his subject, and then he started selling that video of him doing that. Have to run. All right, cool. Thanks for showing up. Definitely follow me. All you got to do is click the little Perry person in the corner and click the plus sign next to my name. I'm going to talk about this just about every single day, this kind of stuff. So if you're not following, definitely do. Brand story journey. Interesting diagram. Yeah. So anyway, so Jason was the first person I met that was doing this. We started doing a little mastermind group. We would just go get pizza and talk about internet business, what we were doing with internet business separately. We didn't have a business together. We were just masterminding. And there was only 2 of us in the mastermind, and we didn't even know we were masterminding. Just to give you all the background of it, we didn't know we were masterminding. We're just getting lunch every week or 2 and talking about, oh my gosh, I just learned about autoresponders. And then we'd both use it, and then we'd go, oh my gosh, here's a subject title that worked for me. And then the other person would go use that or whatever. And so we were doing that, and we were doing that, let's just say for, I don't know, 8 months. We were meeting each other every week, every other week, whatever we could, talking about internet business. And then when Jason said to me, do you know what podcasting is? I was so excited by the idea of podcasting. 2 days later, we started Internet Business Mastery and recorded our first show. So that's how that started at the pizza place. Yeah, it's called The Pie in Salt Lake City. And we would always meet there, and it's funny because anytime he comes into Salt Lake and we get together, we actually drive and have a little meeting at that original pie, even though it's been 10 years. Anytime we can, we go to have pizza at that place as kind of the nostalgia. But that's how it started. He was already doing epic things and wanted to do epic things. Wasn't afraid to do it. He was afraid. We were both afraid, but we were doing it anyway. And I hadn't met anybody else that was doing it anyway. That's the point, is because we were both talking about, oh my gosh, because he said, somebody saw his course and went, that course is not good, or I can't remember what it was. And we would talk about that and go, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Who cares if that person doesn't think your course is good? They can go find another one. Bye, right? So anyway, that's how it started with Jason. Is he was one of the first people that I was going, wow, he's epic. Do it anyways. Yes. Yeah, we were just doing it. And at that point, I'd quit my job, so I had to make it work. But at some point, I followed the idea. You must have known that he was it. No, we started Internet Business Mastery as a hobby. So when you're doing a hobby, somebody who just happens to be interested in the same thing is good enough to do a hobby with, right? Like, that's how it started. And the fact that we kept going, and when we first put it out there, when he and I talked about, we started getting enough emails of people going, where's your course? And we're like, we were doing our own things. We didn't even think of it as worthy of making money from. We just like talking about it as if we were in our mastermind group. When he and I talked and said, let's try and do a course. And the fact that, we decided to do a $2,000 course as our first course, and he was willing to do that and actually willing to take the action, that's probably when I went, yeah, he's pretty epic. Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't even start with a $97 course. We went right to $2,000 and sold out in minutes. It's really hard to find somebody you completely resonate with in business. Well, I'll tell you what, it's incredibly unlikely that I'll ever have a business partner again, because I think I got my one. If you get one that makes it work, I think you're incredibly lucky. That's where I think luck comes in, because I've had other business partners that absolutely did not work out. So I think I had my one. I'm not going to be doing it again. Very, very unlikely. And I actually don't suggest having a business partner, even though I had one and still have one, obviously, that have been this successful. I just don't think the odds are good. Do you know how he knew you were it? Well, I'm this in person. Yeah, partnerships rarely work. It's funny because maybe I'll do a scope about partnerships. Partners only work if one is dead. Yeah. And it's funny because I think, if I would do a partnership ever again, the way that would make me consider it is if I was the controlling partner, if I had at least 51%. Because even Jason and I, with as on board as we both are, we have differences. I'm a fast mover, and he's an engineer. He wants to think things through and really have a smart idea of how things are going to work. And I'm more like, let's go, I'll figure it out on the way. So we both have those different things. Maybe we are too much of control freaks. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's another thing. Has everybody heard of Harry Brown? He wrote a book. Hold on, let me see if I can see it. Harry Brown, I can't remember, How to Be Free in an Unfree World is what Harry Brown wrote. And he talks about a thing called the group trap. And he says that your desire, it's just part of our inherent understanding, is if you're only going to get a percentage of something, most people are not willing to work to 100% to only get 50% back. It's just a way we're wired. And I think that's probably why I wouldn't do partnerships as well. It's still a control freak thing for sure. But it's also, after 10 years of doing it, I understand how I work in that environment of a group, right? Like, it is really hard to go, Okay, well, I want to know how much the other person's working. And even if we're both working the exact same amount of hours, some people are faster than others. Like, you're never going to get the exact amount back for putting 100% into effort into a group activity. And it's a weird thing because I can't not know things that I've learned, and I always think of that stuff. Have you ever had a big fight with Jason? How did you solve it? It depends on how you define big fight. I mean, we have disagreements sometimes that can get heated because we're both passionate about what we're into, but it usually comes back to the end going empathy, going, okay, are you seeing my point? And let me see your side of it. And a lot of times, actually, a couple of big fights, I guess you could say big disagreements. I guess we didn't fight or anything, but big disagreements. We realized we're actually on the same side, just saying it differently. So it was the way we were communicating was different, and most of the time it's been that we're actually saying the same thing in a different way, or my desire to go really super fast and not wait for every piece of information. You know, it was just little adjustments like that that have switched things. Difficult Conversations, great book. I don't know about that one. I'll have to check that one out. Being married is difficult enough. I couldn't handle a business marriage too. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I was married once, and I absolutely will never be married again, partially because of that idea. Because partnerships are incredibly hard, and I think it's hard incredibly long term as well. And it's funny because Jason and I, we've gotten our business in place in a way that we pull income from it. We've switched from self-employed as much as we can over to business. We got a CEO now who runs it and runs most of the business, and then we just do meetings to help with that. And we're able to start our own stuff now. That's why Jason's doing the impact stuff. About influencing, and I'm doing the Scoper Secret stuff as well as this Epic Live stuff. What are some of your favorite books? Okay, let me give you my book list. It'll take me just a second here, and I'll show you. I've had to move my camera around. You can go to jeremyfranson.com. Maybe somebody could, hey, from Brazil, what's going on? Maybe somebody could type this in as soon as I get it set up. jeremyfranson.com. This is my book list. / I got to start memorizing these books, I think. Yes, here's my book, my recommended book list. There it is right there. jeremyfranson.com / books. That is my top book list. Although I'm going to be putting this in the top 4. Very likely this one's going to be number 1. It's funny, I'm only halfway through it and I already know this has switched to number 1. Now I've listened to this book before, so I've listened to the whole thing, but now I'm going through it super in detail, marking up the whole book, making my big notes. I very much like books. It is a huge key to being epic is getting the knowledge from experts, people who've been studying it their whole life. That's what I like learning from. She's been researching this stuff since the 70s, since I was born. This book. So that's where you can go check that kind of stuff. But anyway, so that's going to be in the top. Let's see. I've got Nathaniel Branden's 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, The Happiness Hypothesis, Power of Habit, The One Thing. These are some of the books that I've found incredibly useful. Type of interesting. And then here's another one if you're into the internet business as being your own brand and influencer. Louder Than Words is my top of that group of things right there. And then if you want something you've never heard of before, like the Harry Brown stuff, well, and it's funny because, I need more hours in the day. I'm only reading 3 times a day, 15-minute chunks. I'm reading The One Thing today. Awesome. Yeah, great book. I really like that. And actually, to show you that I implement it, I turned the thing that the one thing a day talks about. They start with a could list. And that's where you write down all of your like to-do actions that are things you could and should do, and then you filter them over to what you should do. So I have that list right here, and I even took it from the book and put it on the back of my notepad so that I can remember that's how it's supposed to be. And then it goes over here. And so I pulled this right from the book, and this is how I filter things to my should list. So I have personal, and then I have business, my one things, and I put it right there on the list. Because the key to reading all these books, and it's funny because I've had people go, oh, you're reading 3 to 5 books a week to seem cool, or because you think that's interesting. No, I want to know the information. Like, this is insane. I'm never going to be a 40-year researcher on the mindset of growth and fixed mindset, right? Going to start doing that as well. Hey, by the way, Mikhail, am I saying your name right? Mikhail or Michael? Anyway, in my, let's see, on my YouTube page that shows these scopes, I talk about, I have one that shows how I'm reading 3 to 5 books a week. And I show you exactly, I use a smart system instead of a speed reading system. And that shows you how I'm doing it if you want to like learn some techniques on how to be able to, do that reading 3 times a day type thing and going really fast. Jeremy, do people actually call you Sterling, or was that just for IBM? Yeah, actually, Sterling was a nickname. And when I lived down in San Diego, when I met Pat Flynn and Dan, who does... oh my gosh, Tropical MBA podcast and all of that. When I met all those guys down there and we would have our mastermind down there, I actually went by Sterling. And then it wasn't until Jason and I started thinking of doing a book, writing books and this kind of stuff, that we went, well, let's just go with our real names rather than pseudonyms or nicknames or whatever. Because his nickname is Jay, like his wife calls him Jay, and most, his family and friends call him Jay, and that's why he was Jay. And Sterling for me was just a name I wished my real name was. That sounds like a great superhero name. Yeah, Sterling. Yeah, I loved it. So that's what I went by in San Diego. And in fact, Pat, it took him a long time to start calling me Jeremy. And even in his book that he wrote, I think it's called Let Go, he referred to Sterling a bunch of times when he met me, and we, I did some mentoring for him. He called me Sterling. Yeah, we talked about this skull right here. This skull right here is actually, I decided on Uric. I love that name. We talked about naming this skull. And Uric is the name of the jester who died in Hamlet. And I love that. So there's Uric. And I think I'll still be Sterling. Yeah, if I didn't, I've even considered changing my name, because why not have a name that you choose? That seems pretty epic too. I've considered it. Great soccer player from England with the name Sterling. Awesome. Yorick. Yeah, that's cool. All right, okay, I think I've done enough. How long have I gone? Oh my gosh, I think I've done 2.5 hours. This is crazy. 2.5 hours. All right, guys, thanks so much for coming in. I'm probably going to, talk, rant, whatever I'm going to do tomorrow. A little bit later, I'm going to answer some questions. We're doing kind of a little bit of a relay scope thing. Spoken class today. Yes, you're very, very welcome. I'm going to try and give more of this. Again, thanks for all the hearts. It just lets me know that you got value from this. I might be answering a question from somebody else's scope, another Internet Business Mastery person's scope. I'm going to answer Joe's stuff. This was so valuable for me. Good. That was my goal, is to rant about crap I'm thinking about and have it be valuable for others. That is literally why I'm doing this. So I'm going to put this up with the scope notes here in about 20 minutes, and I might even scope a couple more times today. I wish it would show in my scopes. Yeah, well, it's a matter of just starting to let yourself fully come out. I like seeing you all fired up, yeah. And this is how I am to everybody, all my friends and people I'm around. I get really passionate about this stuff because anything that makes it so I can be excited about my life and more passionate about my life, I like, because why be ordinary, right? Like, why have any aspect be ordinary? That's also why I'm having the goal of, why be fat? Like, that's bullshit. That's why I'm trying to take care of that too. Why I was talking about the keystone habits, all of that stuff. Why? We get to choose. Nobody else gets to choose. And what happens in our life. And I even tell my daughters this: nobody cares about your life as much as you do. No matter how much people love you, you're the only one that cares to this level. And I even talk to my daughters about that. You've got to be really, really in touch with that fact. I tell them, I love you. You're my daughter. I love you so much. But you are the only one that cares to your level. Why not make your life freaking awesome? Kick in the pants. Amen to that. All right. Oh my gosh, I could probably go hours more. So I'll talk to you guys later, and very likely in the morning tomorrow, dual simultaneous scope with guests. Let's see. That is some bullshit. Yeah, totally. For me, it's going to be a cornerstone challenge. Okay, let me tell you one more thing before I go. Please. So I just listened to, there's a philosopher, a guy who actually is a full-time nowadays philosopher. Love his stuff. Got some controversial stuff, some things that I agree with, some things I don't. He just did a scope because there's somebody who did on YouTube that kind of complained about fat people or people being fat. And he did a scope kind of countering her stuff, although he did say that some aspects of the fat thing are genetic, and then some can be a sign of low IQ. And I was like, no way do I want any aspect of me to come off as low IQ. Screw that. So, I'm down, 14 pounds in the last month with no diet. We can maybe talk about that as well sometime. Again, go into the Facebook group. Tell me stuff you want. I'm going to maybe post something saying, what questions, what topics do you guys want to talk about? Because I have 1,000 things. I've studied this for 25 years. So let's talk about it. I think it's more fear and a self-esteem thing. Yeah, that's certainly possible as well. But he talks about the science behind it. That a lot of people, that's part of it is a portrayal of low IQ. Anyway, we could talk about that another time. Thanks so much. Thanks for you guys who stayed on this whole time and even came in and stayed on. Hoarders gain weight as well. Yeah, the only thing I'm hoarding now is, I'm a minimalist mostly, is these books. I want to get 5,000 books. That's my goal. But anyway, everyday gravity. Hey, thanks so much, guys. Talk to you guys later. Talk to you maybe later today or tomorrow. And thanks for listening. See you guys.